Hello everyone, and welcome to my reaction video of Peter Obi reacting to Governor Wike's speech, Festus Keyamo, the spokesperson of the APC, and others. In this video, I'll be giving you my thoughts and opinion on the issues discussed in the speech, and how they will affect Nigeria's future. Please watch the video and drop your comment of what you think about the presidential candidate of the Labour Party Peter Obi reactions. Please do not forget to subscribe to my channel for more update
and other election materials. Joining us now is Mr. Peter Obi, presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the February 25th election held in Nigeria. Good morning and welcome to the morning show.
Thank you.
Mr. Obi, good to have you back with us on the morning show.
Thank you.
I'm tempted
my
to
dear
ask
brother,
you,
Dr. Ruben.
I'm tempted to ask you, how is it going? Après la guerre, as the French would say, but it looks like the war in this particular election is still on, and the race is still on. So how do you assess your journey so far? And what are you saying to your supporters and Nigerians, many of whom are disappointed with the conduct of the process so far?
Well, my dear brother Ruben, my first question is to thank you for always inviting me, being there for Nigerians, thank their Rise facility for what they've done. My first is to thank God Almighty for His keeping Nigeria, protecting it, and blessing it. Thanking the good people of Nigeria for their interest and participation in trying to build a new Nigeria. The journey so far has been very tough. But that is what is expected. It's been difficult because your Nigerians is to remain calm, remain prayerful for our country, Nigeria. We have no other country except this one. And we will go through all legal, peaceful means to bring a new Nigeria where everybody will be happy and proud to say, I'm a Nigerian.
All right, I'm glad you talk about to remain prayerful and to remain calm. And the reason I say this is that some prominent Nigerians, church leaders, traditional rulers, and high net worth stakeholders are saying that though there are several infractions, the outcome of the election is
The preaching is the problem of Nigeria. The problem of Nigeria is accepting wrongdoing, accepting what is unacceptable. That is using God's name in vain. That's not what God said. God said, do not use my name in vain. So what they're saying is not God's wish. It is not God's plan for Nigeria. So why don't we accept that the 133 million Nigerians who are poor is God's wish? Why don't we accept that 95 million Nigerians living in absolute poverty is God's wish? It is God's wish that you don't have electricity. It is God's wish that our children are kidnapped. It is God's wish that we have collapsed primary health care, leading us to be the country with the highest infant mortality. It is everything happening is God's way, not what God says. No, God's wish is when you do the right thing. And in the end, it is not. This election was dedicated and planned. And we have clear laws about the conduct of the election. If it was followed, if this result were uploaded from the booth, polling unit, like they said, to the server and everything, we won't be here, we won't be talking about it. It would have been concluded in a matter of hours without anybody arguing about it. But it is not God's wish that you do the wrong thing. It is not God's wish that you go and rob a train and make money and start sharing it. It is not God's wish. This is what is killing the country. People come here, take public money, and then go and give it to people in the church and they say it's God's wish and start giving them title in the church, title in this. That is what we are fighting. That's what we want to stop. We want God's wish to be truly God's wish. And that is when we do the right things and God gives his blessing. What we are doing now is why they come. What do you tell the young ones growing up? That it's God's wish that you steal, that it's God's wish that you conduct a wrong election. So tell me the difference between those of us who are doing this and the armed robbers. What is the difference between us and the trained robbers? Let's be sincere with ourselves. That's why it's God's wish that somebody came to your station and said he knows a governor who have 22 billion naira stacked, and nobody's asking about him. But we are stopping young people who are carrying computer and questioning them and calling them names. That's not God's wish. God wishes something better. What I want is God to allow us to do the right things so we can start building a better country for our children.
All right. So there are several, messaging and news going on around that INEC is not allowing your legal team to inspect the materials used, for the election. What's going to be your next action as regards this?
Well, INEC is a public institution sustained by taxpayers' money, including you and me. And I believe there's a law about public institutions. If there's anything, they should be open because they conducted the election. Is that everywhere? If you do something and people are not satisfied, it's for you to open up yourself. It's not the first time I'm going to court with INEC. Since 2003, I would say several times, I've had to challenge INEC results. Remember that I'm the first governor in this country to come through the process of court by being in court for 3 years. Throughout the 3 years, I was in court with INEC giving me access to whatever materials they used to conduct the election. You've conducted the election, Rufai. You've announced or declared the winner. I'm only asking, can I have access to the documents and materials you used to arrive at that? I'm not asking you to change what you said. And remember, like I always say, people, I'm not challenging their declaration. Sorry, I'm not challenging who they declared. I'm not challenging whatever the outcome. I'm challenging the process which they arrived at their declaration. And unless we do that, we're not going to stop the rascality we witnessed in that election. The process through which people come into office is, for me, I said it everywhere, is far more fundamental than what they do thereafter. There's a process of doing things. There's a process of arriving at any destination. If, like I said in my press conference, if you're going to answer His Excellency, the process of coming to that position must be excellent. If you're going to be a bishop, there's a process of being a bishop. Dr. Ruben is a doctor. Why didn't you call me a doctor? Don't that look like a doctor? You called him a doctor because he went and read PhD. Rufai might be awarded a doctor by university, so he's a doctor. But you can't just go on the street and say you're a doctor when you're not. So there must be a process, because even if it's going to be awarded, you must have done something that merited you to be awarded that. Or you must have, like Ruben, went and read PhD. Otherwise, we're all doctors. So a process is important.
Right. So what would you be doing next, really, if they're not granting you access to this?
We'll follow the law. We'll go back to the court and say, what you granted, these people are not obeying. We're not going to be, for me, we'll do whatever is necessary within the law. Whatever we're going to do will be for the interest of the country. But they will give us access because they pronounce and declare somebody. So we must have access to the process they arrived at that.
Since February 25, there have been reactions to your participation, to your role, to what you represent. Governor Wike of Rivers State says you are the hero of the entire process. And what is his explanation? His explanation is that you stopped PDP from winning in the traditional places. That for doing that, as far as he is concerned, and for making Southern presidency possible, you are his hero. Festus Keyamo, spokesperson of the APC, also waded into the matter and said, in fact, that you have served your purpose in this electoral process. That the purpose that you were to serve was to help make Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu president-elect. That's his own reading of it. He says, because without you stopping the PDP in their traditional states, Bola Tinubu will not have emerged as president-elect. Number 3, Reno Omokri, who is a spokesperson for the People's Democratic Party, says, well, APC may have rigged, but that Mr. Peter Obi was the perfect rigger in that election, and that you rigged in the Southeast, that he is surprised that a candidate will be reporting 97% of the votes from certain states of the Federation. Of course, Atiku Abubakar, presidential candidate of the PDP himself, had admitted that your leaving the PDP hurt his chances in that election. What do you say to these general comments on your presidential race?
Well, Ruben, my first reaction generally is that I contested the election. I wasn't contesting it to help anybody to win. And I continue to say that even the declared winner did not win. You might have been declared by whatever means, but you've not won the election. Ruben, to win is to win the people. Democracy is government of the people, by the people, for the people. That means if you must win, you must win the people. But if you don't win the people, you've not won. And I can tell you, the last election, the declared person did not win. However, that is what we're challenging. The rascality is what we're challenging. On the various comments, let me use the issue of Reno Omokri. Ordinarily, I won't comment on anything because I only comment on or reply fellow presidential candidates, not their spokesperson, because they're not contesting. But since something that I have never participated or been part of was mentioned, I need to reply it. Ruben, I have never, and I will never ask anybody to add one vote for me that doesn't rightfully belong to me. I've never paid anybody to rig election for me. Go all over Nigeria and ask anybody in INEC, the so-called EOs, resident commissioners, everybody, whether any of them have met Peter Obi saying do this. Go and ask police, army, anybody. Never. They are referees. It is their job to do their job. I've never. This show where I got 97% is in Anambra State. Reno Omokri forgot that in 2019, go and check the records, where PDP had the highest vote was in Anambra State. When in 2019, when I was vice presidential candidate to Atiku, our vote in Anambra State was 95 point something, almost 96%. That's where PDP got the highest vote, because I was on that ballot. And they know me. Ruben, I live in Onitsha. If you want to know whether I get 95% in Anambra State, come and go to Anambra State with me. I don't need police. When I come out, you see the reaction of the people. In fact, I'm actually surprised I didn't get 100%. I'm telling you, because I don't know who will be voting against me in Anambra State. In the Southeast, it's a similar situation. People know me. People know what I stand for. People know I've kept to my promises. People know I've kept to what I've said. It's a simple thing. It's like people go about and say, oh, he got votes in Lagos because of the Igbos. Remember how many Igbos live in Lagos? I got more votes from the indigenes in Lagos than those who are, you can call visitors. Are the Igbos in Nasarawa? Are the Igbos in Plateau? Are the Igbos in Abuja? In Rivers, where you know that the governor came out against me, and everything, I said, if the real vote of Rivers were counted, Reuben had won. I have over 50-something% of the vote. The other two parties were sharing the order. And it was, I won in Asoro. So, will you say it's rigging? Which machinery do I have to rig? I have no councillor, I have no local government chairman, no this thing. I'm not in control of police. I don't even know any DPO. So which machinery will I use to rig? How will you do? They are the ones who I believe in this. What they are doing is what I'm trying to change. So those who say you have satisfied what I came for are part of the people we're trying to change.
All right. Okay, so